What's up, fellow YouTubers? I have a 2016 Chevy Silverado. Is overdue for a transmission oil change. As a matter of fact, it feels like it's slipping and the oil is filthy. So what I'm gonna do, I put it up. Remember, safety first. I put it up on ramps. I'm gonna use my floor jack and jack it up. I'm gonna put on my glasses. I already have my gloves on. I think I found a way to do it without dropping the oil pan. Most videos I see on YouTube, because it's my first time doing it, I've never done it before, my first Chevy truck. And most people who change the transmission oil, they try to jack the muffler down or use the jacking away with a piece of 2x4 or so. They jack up the 2x4 so the muffler drop down so they can slip the oil pan out. But I may not have to remove the oil pan, and I'm gonna show you in a second what I mean. The very first thing you have to do, you have to remove the dipstick. Get that dipstick out of there. Alright. It's right here. Dipstick. It's laid here. Alright. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go underneath. We're gonna need the tool we're going to need so far that I realize just a 10mm with a ratchet. If you could get it with a swivel on top, I think you can get it, those 10mm bolts without a swivel. And I think this goes for maybe 2015 to 2018. I'm not sure. Again, it's my first Chevy truck. So now what I'm going to do is go underneath, but again, you just need a 10mm with a swivel, would be much easier. I have a Milwaukee drill, so I use it to get out the 10mm bolts a little faster. I have a torque wrench that I'm going to use to I think the torque spec on it, I don't know, to be honest with you. Usually with 10mm bolts, it's about 11 foot-pounds. But I'm just gonna, I doubt I'm gonna use a torque wrench, because the one I have is big. Even though you could go up to 10mm, I don't feel comfortable using such a big torque wrench. I need to invest in a small one. Remember, safety first. You're doing this at your own risk. I'm not liable for anything. If you try to sue me, I'm gonna go back home to Jamaica. But I love America. Woo! You know, the craziest thing, every day I thank God for America. You know, let us take a look at what people say. This is a racist country. Could you believe I can drive a $40,000+ truck and actually pay the payments on it in a country that only white people have privilege? You know what? I guess I'm white. I'm a white Jamaican, as you can see, because I have a lot of privilege. God bless me with a house to live in, car, my wife has a car. As a matter of fact, I have 2 vehicles. As a matter of fact, I have 4 vehicles. They may not be new, but I got them. And it would be a slap in God's face if I say God isn't good to me and I don't have privilege. as a Christian, to say this is a racist country. I'm not saying people don't have problems, but I should be excited as a Christian to reach people like that for his sake, for his purpose. I should be glad when I meet racist people, especially if they want to talk to me. I get to share the gospel. I've been racist and all. I've been racist against cats. I hate cats. I've been racist against all kind of things. But you know, that's beside the point. I know people out there experience real hatred. I don't even call it racist. I call it, if a person hates you just for who you are, I call it hate. I don't call it racism, I call it hate. But God called us to love them because we were once lost and blind and in sin. But the Bible said while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. But the point ain't this today. I'm going to change the transmission oil on this vehicle, but I can't help it. It's just in my blood to say, I love America. And I love every single person here in America, from the racist to the most loving. I love them all the same. And I pray that God could use me to reach the world. Well, let's get to this transmission filter. I want to see if I'm correct. Can I actually change this thing without have to drop the oil pan? I'm sure it'll be a lot easier. Now, check this out. Again, I have my gloves on, my safety glasses. Another thing I like to bring, a soapy rag with Dawn dishwashing liquid. If you could have 2 or 3 of them, that is good, because I don't like transmission oil. Another thing I like is, I've been wearing face masks all the time. I keep that over my nose, and because sometimes oil may drop into your mouth. Another thing, I bring a clean rag to wipe my face with on my eyes, if I have to. Okay. As you can see, I started already. I took all of this out, right? I don't have the best view, but let's see if that view's better. Yeah. The transmission filter is right here. I let the pan hang down this way. Matter of fact, I started to loosen it from the back towards the front. I let it leak out until it's not leaking anymore. I take out all the front bolts. Then I take out 2 of the side bolts and let it drip. When it stops dripping, I take out 2 more, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. Then I keep on taking them out, one on the left, 1 on the right, until I can it completely drain. Then after that, what I do, I pull the oil pan. As you can see, I got a really wide oil pan. It's about maybe 30 inches wide or 24 inches wide. So it could catch most of the oil. As you can see, some still with the wind may blow over a little bit, but it's not as messy. The next thing I do, I pull it forward and let this front part drain. There's oil in there, so what I'm gonna use is a turkey baser. I think that's what they call, or one of your pump oil with out, like you in the seal transmissions use those pump to pump transmission oil in. Because the reason why I want to take it out completely is because I want to clean inside the pan, just in case there's a magnet in there. I don't know if it's removable, but we'll see. So I took the dipstick out so it's not in the way of anything. The next thing I'm going to do is rock the filter down. Just rock it left to right and pull slightly. You don't want to pull too hard because you don't want to cut your hands against anything. So if you could get a thicker gloves, that's good. Now, to get the filter out, now the pan is lowered as low as it could go. Looking down, I still have the filter over the hole, and I turn it and rock it a little bit counterclockwise. See, it's right here out already, counterclockwise. And try not to hold your face over it, and I just turn it up towards the top of the transmission, and it comes right out. Bam. There it goes. The filter is out now. Do I have to take this gasket out? No, I don't want to damage it. So I push the oil pan up a little bit, and I try to pull that gasket out because it's reusable. All right, so now I'm good. See, still, it's a cheap. I bought this oil pan at Walmart. It is very cheap. It feels cheap, but it do the job. It's about 10 bucks. So now, the next thing I have to do is to get a turkey baster to slowly squeeze. They're probably a half a gallon of a half a quart of transmission oil. It's still inside there. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Now, to be honest with you, I don't feel like to go to the store. So I have a raggedy towel there. I'm just gonna put it in there and let it soak up the transmission oil. But you see, I was preparing to drop the pan. Then when I look at and see the clearance that I have here, I have about 7-inch clearance. I feel I can do it. As a matter of fact, this transmission lines here, I could remove that 10 volt. Yep, it's a 13 millimeter bolt. I can move it from here and there's another one right, and unclip it from here, or remove this 15 millimeter, or just unclip it. It's a clip that you could just pull it out and slide this over so you have even more room. Alright? You see, you want to do the same work as accurate and as safe as you can, and as fast as you can. Especially when you have children, you have work, and you have to do these things. So if I wasn't talking so much, 15 minutes already it would take me to do all of this. 15 to 20 minutes, because I have to wait for the oil to drain. So about 15 or 20 minutes. And if you haven't do your oil change as yet, everything is right here. I only use Mobile One. You could use any oil that is Dextro 5, I think. You could use any oil, but this truck ain't cheap. So I'm gonna try to use the best out there. And of course, Castrol, Mobile One, Pennzoil, all of those oils are good. You know, but I use Mobile One filter at Walmart. That cost me $35. No? Okay. Why am I on this subject? But Walmart now sell oil in a box. It's a little cheaper than the two. This take about 6.8 quarts, I believe. So I usually buy 2 bottles for $50, and the oil filter cost me $60. At the dealer, it's $85 to $120 to change this oil. Okay. That next time I have to change the oil, it's about $6,500 to $7,000. I change it every 7,000 miles. I check it every week. I only buy I buy two 5-gallon jugs of oil. Then I'm gonna use 1.5 quart from the other one, or 2 quarts from one of the 5-gallon to make up the 7 quarts with 1 jug of the 5-gallon. That sounds a little confusing. As you can tell, I'm not good at math. So the next time I'm changing my oil, I still have 3 gallons in that other that I use from the 5-gallon. So I only buy 1 gallon of oil, which lasts me $35. So at the end of the day, it ends up to be cheaper doing it yourself. Either way you go. I don't buy the one single course because they're too expensive. Now I buy the one that come in a jug, which is $50, and I get like 12 quarts. That's much more cheaper. I'll be right back. Let me go get my towel. But you don't have to use a towel. You can use a turkey baster. Using a dirty towel I rip into. I'm using a clean towel. Cleaning my pan is spotless. I don't have to look in there. I can see it. I'm still gonna peep in there. I usually use my phone after I clean inside, I use my phone to peep inside there to make sure everything is clean. Yeah, I could see in there. Everything is clean in there. Now, let's put the magnet back. There's a little bump that's there. You could see the bump. The bump is in the oil pan underneath. You could see it right there. Inside of our oil pan, you put that little notch, you're putting a magnet over that. The magnet over that butt. Right. Now, for the next thing is the gasket. Okay, this will determine if I'm able to do it. Okay, still got some oil on the ground. Use my towel to clean that up. Okay. This is gonna determine if I'm able to do this. Okay. Make sure you put on the gasket the right way. Okay. I know this going to go. Okay. Match the gasket up to the oil pan. Okay. There's little notches on there, if you can see. Look, there's little notches right there. Make sure it goes in the right direction. The curved side here, like the corner, you see, like taking a nice little corner around, it stays to your right as you lay on your back. So there's no debris inside the pan or anything like that. So I'm gonna try. Now, with the dipstick inside of it, it can be a little bit more challenging to get this gasket in. But if I could get this gasket on, I think the job I'm able to do it. Okay, I think I did it, guys. Yep, I'm gonna get it in this. Oh, okay. Accomplished one. You know, I like the way Chevy did this. They did it in a way so the gasket won't fall out. Bam. Gasket is in. Again, double check. Make sure no debris is in there. Make sure your magnet is in the corner here. I think we're good. Oh. Okay, I'm back with the filter. As I said, this is my first Chevy truck, right? And I'm used to Hondas, Toyota, Lexus, so forth, BMW. Now, I want original filter. The thing I don't like with AC Delco part, they have like 3 different filters for this. That's AC Delco. That fits this transmission. One is a cheaper part and the next one is a, you see, I don't know how to, people who work on Chevy know exactly what to look for. With Honda, either you have original or aftermarket, but I want the exact same thing that I took out of this transmission. And matching them up, looking at the part number, I feel this is the exact same thing. Because look, you have to go through all this. You're saving about $200-300 doing it yourself. So might as well you get a decent part. Remember, I took the part out. Now, this is what I say. The part came with a little clip that goes into the transmission. Am I gonna change that? I don't know. You know, I could. It's right there. It's reachable. I'm not going to change it this time. The second time, maybe a year from now, I'm going to try to change my transmission oil every year. Maybe a year from now, it will, I will change it. You could feel it rocking back and forth. I could take it out, but I'm not going to. Next time I will. You could if you want to. It's recommended that you do, I think. I put this in with the flat part, not the hose part, facing up towards the bottom top of the transmission, while this one is in the pan. Right? Okay, now let's see how. Then I took it out counterclockwise. I'm gonna put it in clockwise now. Bam. In. Let's see if the clip worked good. Okay, the clip worked. It's not going anywhere. It's a nice clip. Sometimes they dry rot and crack, but this is the first time I'm changing this transmission oil. I'm gonna do it maybe another 2-3 months. The reason why I waited so long to do it, and I can't believe I'm usually responsible when it comes to cars and taking care of them, but not this time. So I'm finished without dropping the pan, and I could have changed that clip if I wanted to. The oil pan gasket, make sure that is in place. There's a safety notch that holds the oil pan down, so you don't have to wrestle it with it or tie threads around it. You don't have to do any of that. Here's my 10 bolts. I'm gonna, what they call again, try to catch a couple of them with my hands. It may be easier for you to drop the whole thing, try to lower the muffler. The right way to do it, you want to lower the muffler. There's 6 15 millimeter bolts that if you remove it, the muffler comes down. I think you have to remove it some at the back too. Actually, if you spray them ahead of time with PB Blaster or WD-40, whatever, the bolt will be much easier to take out. But I'm not. You could put, again, a 2x4 here and lower it like they do it. I don't do it like that because I don't like to put so much pressure on the muffler, and I feel eventually it might crack. But you could do it that way too. Everyone's been successful at it. So now I put my phone turn. I put my 10 millimeter here. Alright, and I want to make sure I'm going through the gasket. You should. You see? Make sure all the screws, don't tighten anything down. Make sure all the screws go through the gasket. That doesn't go. Alright. Okay. You say, why don't I put some screws at the front and put them there? I don't do it that way because I want to see the gasket and make sure all the screws go into the gasket. If I put it some at the front first, one in each corner, I may not see that gasket. That's just the way I choose to do it. Whichever way work, you can hand catch them too. The ones that can't hand catch, you catch them by hand. See, I could still see the gasket. Yeah, my safety glasses fell off. I could still see the gasket right there. Okay. Alright. Okay, looking at this side. All the screws are in on this side. It's incorrect. It's incorrectly. So now for the right side, I'm laying on my back. Okay, now I'm missing one screw. I let one fell into the oil pan. So again, even if you have to look, you could see the gap there. You could see a gasket Gonna catch that hand tightening. Okay. I forget to tell you prior, save the glass, prior to changing my transmission oil, I bought 3 5-gallon jugs of it, which cost me almost, with the filter and everything probably cost me $120. AC Delco Dextron 6. You can also use Valvoline, fully synthetic transmission oil, and so forth. Use AC Delco because they say that's original part. I don't know much about Chevy. You guys know what's best. You know, make sure you like and subscribe and give me advice and let me know if I do a good job, bad job, a job. Now, I put 5 gallons in the first time. I leaked it out. The way I leaked it out, I don't know if that's the best way, but I unhook one of the lines, the bottom line to the left, while I'm lying on my back. Transmission hose. You could do it from here also. And put my oil pan under there, start the engine, and I leaked it out. I put back that 5 gallon there, take a drive about 5, 7, 8 miles and come back and leak it out again. I do it twice now. This is my 3rd time I'm gonna leak it out. On the 3rd time, I leave it in there for good. I do it every year, so I may not change a filter every year. If the filter lasts for 60,000 miles, I'm only gonna drain it and just add transmission fuel until 60,000 miles. I change that filter again. The reason I'm gonna change the filter is because I neglected the transmission. But if I should do it right, I wouldn't change the transmission filter just once a year or every 2 oil change for me. I leak out the transmission oil and I put fresh one. Okay, I'm sure there's other people on YouTube that do it better and are better at this, so you could get better advice from. Not that I'm struggling with low self-esteem. It just, they've been working with Chevy all their life. So now, I'm gonna take one screw from here until I drain this oil out and get my screw out. Okay. All right. 10 millimeter. Put it right here. Make sure it's go through the gasket perfect. Okay, now, to be honest with you, I'm not gonna use a torque wrench, but you should. All right. Now, I'm not gonna tighten anything yet. I'm just bringing up the pan. Make sure the gasket is in right. Okay. If you're not good at using a drill, don't use it to tighten anything. Now I'm not tightening it. Now I'm just catching the bolts. Make sure you're in good. All right. If you're using the drill and you hear this, that means you tighten the bolt. So I loosen it, and I don't want to hear that. I just want it to snogging. Make sure I get everything in right. Check your gaskets and make sure it's sitting correctly. You see, when I'm right here with the muffler, I need a swivel so I don't cross thread that bolt. So be careful right there. That's where the swivel. Okay, so now I've tightened all of them. I'm not tightening, but I snug all of them in. Now I'm going to tighten it. You can do your sequence. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 bolts. So every 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know? So you can do all 4 corners. Right? Hit all 4 corners. Next, if I do this screw here, I do the one over here, which is right here. If I do this one next, do the opposite. Just get your own sequence. Okay, that's the double check now. Remember, I'm missing one. Let's double check. Invest in a small torque wrench. Okay. Now I'm going to empty this, get my last 10 bolt, and I'm going to get me a 3/8 ratchet just to test everything to make sure that all of the bolts, because it's so with your hand than with. And what I do, I mix some Dawn detergent liquid with some degreaser, and I put it on the spot and scrub it. And if it doesn't completely come off, I have some Dawn detergent liquid with some bleach, and I put it down there again and scrub it, and it'll come right off. Alright, so let me go get my 3/8 ratchet. One of the reasons, wipe your hand down with the soapy rag that you have. Wipe your drill off or your tools. I mean, wipe it off a bit so you don't track it in the interior of your vehicle. You need to write down at what mileage you change your transmission oil. So wipe my tool off because transmission oil and oil will make these black things swell. Wipe everything down as much as you can. Wipe the muffler off so you don't smell that stuff when you try to make sure it's not hot. Make sure it's cool before you even mess with that muffler. Alright, okay. I'll be right back. I'll get my 3/8 ratchet, empty this oil so I could get my 10mm bolt out of it. Alright, I'm back. Got my 3/8 ratchet. I'm gonna double check all. And I got that bolt that fell. Okay, now I'm gonna check everything. Okay, everything is good here. One of the things you don't want to do, try to remember this. To check your transmission oil and to put the right amount. That's about it. You see, you could do that without dropping that pan and jacking up muffler so it goes down and all of that. Peace out. Remember, if you haven't accepted Jesus Christ into your heart, the Bible said this is a day of salvation. Give your heart to Him. He's calling you to greatness. Like and subscribe.